Welcome to this look at a new ish mod map to Farming Simulator 25 with me, MrSealyp. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on Lindsay, Montana by Poorboy Modding and Bruce's Gaming. 113.37 megabytes download. No required mods to download. We've got a couple of bits under build mode. And actually we've got a load of vehicles and machinery that have been added in on this one as well. There is a train that goes to Goldcrest Valley. The slot count on all three game modes is 840. I got that down to 656 just by removing the equipment and machinery and the farmhouse that we stand on the porch of right now. Sleep trigger here, wardrobe trigger just around the side. Down there. And we start with our side-by-side overlooking the expanse of countryside. And it is an expanse. You've got a ton of massive open field farming. If you want to get into doing some big stuff, some big harvest, big gear, go for it. There's also a lot of forestry as well. I say a lot of forestry. I mean, all of this here, all of that is, as you can see, fields. This is all forestry up here, but there's plenty of it to be getting on with. There's a river that runs down through here. We have a ferry crossing just here, and we have a bridge crossing just here. So you can pick either one, whichever one you'd rather use. If you think that's a shortcut, use that shortcut. If not, don't worry. Field prices, I say plot prices aren't too bad. Field prices get up there because obviously we've got some pretty big fields. Now on New Farmer, as you can see, we start with this one here, which has got the farmhouse on. This one here, and these plots down here. Yeah, so these are, you know, you're going to be up there. They're big fields, but there are some smaller ones we can pick up. And because on New Farmer you start with 3 anyway, you can really get cracking with your harvest work and stuff. So yeah, these aren't too bad. And then you've got the plots around the edges as well. Whether it be rocky, whether it be trees, you can just pick up a few plots here and there and then go for it. To your heart's content. Pick and choose what you want to do. That's entirely up to you, of course. So, build mode. If we go into build mode, we have got under, interestingly, construction. We've got these that are showing as Lindsay, Montana, as constructables. We come down to factories. We have got adjusted, amended, we have got the sawmill, and we've got the paper mill. And the paper mill does plywood boards, as well as a shingle roofing as well. The normal paper mill does cardboard roll and paper roll. This does some extra bits and bobs. We'll see when we get to that. We can purchase that. That's not a problem. And then under sell points, it does say in the description, thank you to Schultz Modding for the sell everything sell point. That's in there as well. There was nothing under decorative items, under animal pens or anything like that. That's all standard stuff. If we come out of there, if we go into this one here and come to there. So under Lindsay, Montana, we've got a lot. Now I'm not sure. Oh yes, now I can see what it is. So these have been amended. These have been amended, and it's the actual length of the cables on this one. That one's 500 meters. That one's 999 meters of cable. We got the couple of lorries that have been amended, adjusted. These are capacities. That's a 1.2 million litre capacity. These are they a million each? I can't remember. Or is it a million total? I think it might be a million total. That's 500,000 litres. That's 500. Well, that's the two separate versions of that. So yeah, that one goes from 250,000 up to a million litres. The headers, standard header and a corn header, they all both run at 39 miles an hour. So that's how they've been amended. And then the harvester has got that's a 10 million litre, isn't it? That's nuts. But anyway, yeah, so all those have been amended and adjusted within there. But that's not all. If we come to here and come down to our seeders and planters, I always do my double check here. I check in the main menu, but I check here as well to see if any extra crops have been added in. Contracts are available, have I mentioned that already? So I normally check on seeders and planters for custom crops. So I clicked on there. Nope, fine. Came on to planters, clicked on there and noticed that at the bottom. So your planters have been amended on this map to do everything. And when I say everything, everything. We've got carrot, we've got parsnip, we've got potato, we've got sugar cane, everything. And that's every single planter. So every single planter in here has been amended. Oh, hang on, I say that. Isn't that weird? That I was making a sweeping statement. I'll get letters. Why would you have all of them done apart from one? How bizarre. Anyway, there you go. So they've all been, nearly all have been amended and adjusted for that. So what we'll do, we'll get around and have a look. There's a couple of curiosities, I guess is the best way of putting it. I think possibly, well, maybe it won't. I was going to say maybe it'll get an update, but I suppose it's not necessarily relevant to a lot of people. Where the river is, there's a bridge further down. Actually, I'll show on the map. Right up in the corner here, and we'll go and we'll have a look whether we go aerially or whether we go on foot. The river runs right the way down here, but this is the map edge right here. So this bit here thins right out, and the water comes, as you can see, off the edge here. So there's no crossing point to get over to this. This is the old, like an old abandoned mine shaft, and there's trees all around it. And I like the fact even the roadways have got trees in amongst them. So it gives you that challenge of, do you spend your first bit of time clearing all the trees in the roadway so you've got access? Do you clear an access route here? If you own both plots of land either side of the river, whichever ones they may be, because that goes across the middle of the river and that one does too, if you own both, putting a bridge across wouldn't be a problem at all. So what I did was swim across, but you can't swim. You just go to the bottom of the yeah, so you can't actually swim in the water, which is weird, isn't it? Because in your mind, from FS25 having third person and being able to swim and see your character swimming, it's kind of a given in your mind. You think, well, yeah, you go into water, you swim. It didn't work. So yes, like I say, I mean, is that really something that's a necessity that would need to be updated? Is that something that makes the map unplayable? No, not at all. So I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. That is not a warehouse. Don't be fooled. Not by the rocks that I've got. What's happened here? Oh no, it's the other side, just over here. Cross all these tracks over. Rent train point is just there. And this is the paper mill. It is the warehouse building. Because I thought, hang on a minute, where's the trigger? That's because it's not that. So bringing stuff in and putting it in is done around here. If we stop just around here, and we can actually see from here, actually, we might as well do it from here. So we own the sawmill already, but we go across there, available cement factory and paper mill. So the paper mill there, you see, does carton roll, floor tiles, plywood and prefab wall. Like so. Actually, what we'll do, let's just buy it, because I'm curious about something. Yeah, incoming materials. How does that work? Oh, let's have a check on the recipes here. That requires wood chip for carton roll, floor tiles, wood chip for carton roll. That's wood chip to plywood. Oh, right, and the prefab wall requires the plywood. I'm thinking, why would it require an incoming material of plywood if it's making plywood? Because the prefab wall needs the plywood to make the prefab wall, which kind of makes sense. You know, I suppose giants have got to make a cut off somewhere of, you know, their sawmills and stuff. You can make prefab walls. But when you look at the prefab wall, it's got big sheets on it, and I guess planks and stuff wouldn't cut the mustard. You need to have plywood. So yeah, it makes sense. So we'll follow this track up and over the top, leaving the plains, prairie, flatland-ish open field area, and you can see what I mean about the trees and stuff over the trackways. Now you don't, obviously, this doesn't have to be your trackway. Once you're on the land, you can go as the crow flies, you know, put in your own track, grass over this, whatever you want to do, it's up to you, and then build your own road. This is the only thing. Is these. Actually, I haven't checked to see whether or not rock breaking, whether we can get rid of them, because we have a couple of maps now where it doesn't have to have a rock breaking contract for you to be able to remove stone, because obviously that is blocking the path, so potentially. So if we just come sort of to here, I was looking at the narrowest part here thinking, I wonder if there's a ford here or something, but as we've already seen, you can buy both sides of the ground, so putting in a bridge wouldn't be an issue. So I thought, I'll just swim across, and it did this. I'm taking it wrong, it's a cool look, but yeah, so you can't actually swim. But you know what we'll do, let's go aerial, and we're now here at the side. We get all up to here, in amongst the trees, and again, it's kind of trees have grown up around it. If you're going to use it, if you want to grab the stuff there. I mean, the only thing you can do is I can't tell if that's stone. Let me just check something here. That is an interesting one actually, because it doesn't look like iron ore. Just this old mine. It would make sense that it's stone because of the fact that we've got the cement factory which requires stones. So it kind of would make sense that was stone and not iron ore, because there's nothing else on the map that requires iron ore. That would be a bit of a weird one. Actually, let's whiz up and have a look. And the text you're looking at from airborne, that's only just dawned on me. My mind automatically went, oh yeah, iron ore. But again, yeah, why would you wouldn't necessarily need iron ore, would you? Then we'll jump back to the side by side and we'll head on down the map. You start with a lot of equipment on here. I mean, hence dropping from 840 down to 656. That's quite a lot of stuff. Yep, that's like stone to me, not iron ore. So there you go. So, but again, if you're going to utilise it, you've got to work out a way of getting to it, getting equipment, machinery to it, cut trees, build a road, clear around it. It gives you some challenges. I like, you know, that's that kind of a storyline, something you can do. You know, I think that's quite cool as a challenge. So, and you can see the forestry, especially this side, well, that side as well, is not going to be straightforward. Plenty of decent straight trees as well, though. So, as far as using tree harvesters and loading up trailers and stuff, should be quite straightforward, but plenty to be getting on with. So, back to the side by side, which is just over there. Onwards and down the map. So we're going to head to the ferry crossing first. So we'll cross at the ferry. We'll do the stuff that's the other side. I mean, it's again, it's another sort of, you know, potentially sweeping statement, but the amount of equipment and machinery you start with, I would say it's kind of set up to be a multiplayer map straight off the bat. Because you can only use one. I mean, it's no different to any map. You can only use one of each piece of equipment at a time. When you've got duplicates of bits of equipment, that's when you start thinking, well, hang on a minute, why would you necessarily need duplicates? So I think, you know, there's a lot to be getting on with, and with the big fields, it's a lot of work. Actually, you know something I haven't checked since I mentioned it. Contracts, stone picking, wood transport, deadwood. So we haven't got any other. I was wondering if there was any like fertilising or harvesting contracts, because there's some big fields there. You know, they're the sort of thing they're going to take a long time to do, but wow, will they pay out. That's the sort of thing as well. It's never really kind of occurred to me, sort of it's occurred to be about multiplayer forestry. Of course it has, but that whole concept of running it as, you know, maybe you're the site foreman, maybe you run the sawmill, whatever, and you specify what stuff you need. If one of the challenges was you've got to clear all the dead standing stuff, that makes that proposition a lot more interesting, doesn't it? If you were going to, you go out and mark them all with sprays, and then you know, your logging crew's got to go and sort it out. I don't know, it'd be an interesting thing to do. Let's cross at the ferry. And we shall continue on our way. I'm still very, I know I'm going to keep going about it, because today is the day, it is November the 4th day. I'm assuming, I'm making the assumption, that the Highlands fishing expansion is going to be a 1 PM release. I've had a few people messaging me already asking me why is it not out yet, when's it coming. So I'm assuming they're going to do a 1 PM release thing, which like they've done before. I find that frustrating. I don't mind for blog posts and things like that, you know, that's fair enough, having a set thing, but I guess how do you do it? They do it 1 PM, well, it's 1 PM UK time, which kind of gives you an average time around the world. I guess if they did it midnight, it would be midnight different everywhere. I don't know, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I kind of understand why Giants sort of do what they do, but when people are saying, well, it's supposed to release on the 4th, I've paid for it, I want access to it on the 4th, not halfway through the 4th, you know. So I kind of see. What I was going to say was, the whole thing with the boats, the cargo vessel and the sports fishing boat and the fishing rods and stuff. That's fine. As long as you've got the DLC installed, the water here, modded maps, standard maps, giants maps, you can come and you can do rod and reel fishing anywhere. You can do the young fishing, you can do the trout farm, but you can't do the offshore stuff, and you can't bring the boats over. But the potential of what that has done, what that brings, I think is huge. It's a very big thing. Anyway, we come across the tracks here. Another rent train point here. Animal dealer point is just here. Gas station, just there. That's your vehicle workshop trigger. Your vehicle shop trigger. Sell everything, just here. We come across the way. This is the reset point, this area just here. And this is what I'm talking about, equipment and machinery. So when you start getting duplicates of things, you think, well, it's one thing to have an excavator, to have a tractor with a mulcher, you know, to have a skidder. We've got kind of, well, that's a fella buncher, but to have two excavators, I know one is for grabbing logs and stuff, and then one is for your tree harvesting, but that would imply again that you could just have different implements and switch them over. It's kind of set up-ish for multiplayer, I think, personally. Across the way and up here we've got the sawmill, which we start with. This is an old school sawmill as well. Don't mind that. And if we come back down here, we'll actually cut across. There's like a fork in the road, which takes us down to the main track there and over the standard bridge, not the ferry crossing. Don't know what a non-standard bridge is, but you know, this is the cement factory, which will require stones from wherever you get them from. You don't have to use that if you don't want to spend ages clearing away and getting over to the one right at the other end of the map. You might want to put something in which will allow you to have stones come out all the time. But that's your cement factory. And then if we come across the bridge, we come to the last section, which is all the rest of the equipment machinery. So all the forestry stuff was all here, and this is all your farming stuff. And this has got a lot of the stuff that Poorboy Modding and Bruce's Gaming have put in and adjusted, modded, with your various different capacities, harvester header speeds and that kind of stuff. That's all over here. But again, if you don't want to use any of that, remove it all. If you know, some people, you know, of it, not anti necessarily, but they don't think it's right to use, you know, cheat stuff. I know it's always referred to as cheat stuff, and if you don't want it, you don't have to use it. I know it's all here at the start. You can remove it all. So, low loaders, log trailer, that'll be the large capacity stuff, I would think, because that's going to be the modded version. We've got our Volvo, Agrifac, 8RX, and I'm assuming that's going to be the multi-planter version. I would think their modded version of it. It'd be weird to have them all here as available and then not use them. The big old 9RX. And then the Hallmaster. Over there we've got our harvester and header ready to go on the field. One of the fields that we start with on New Farmer. And we're back into the open countryside just down the bottom of the map here. So we have come from up there, looking out. We've gone all up here, crossed there to have a look at the old mine. Followed the track all the way down here and crossed at the ferry crossing, just there. Out and through here to all the various bits and bobs, the vehicle shop, rent train, animal dealer, sell point just there. Carpentry, sawmill just there. Cement factory, across the bridge, and all the equipment machinery here. There's nothing down in this corner. That is the map. Lindsay, Montana by Poorboy Modding and Bruce's Gaming. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then of course, please be my guest. Whatever you choose to do. Thanks for watching.